Okay, first of all, I'm going to show you that in a lot of ways GeoGebra is a lot like GSP. We can do some of the same constructions that we've done before. It is set up by default with the coordinate axis on the screen. You can turn those off, you can move them around. I'm just going to kind of ignore them right now while we're working. So if you look up at the top, we have several commands or icons that are very similar to GSP. I'm going to build a triangle and find the centroid as the first thing that we do, just to kind of get used to GSP, or to GeoGebra. So I'm going to click on the polygon tool here, and if you click on the little arrow, you'll get other choices. You can make either a polygon or a regular polygon. I'm just going to make a polygon, and I'm going to make a triangle. I just click 3 points and then click back on the first vertex to set the polygon. It labels the vertices, labels the sides, and then GeoGebra also has the Algebra View over here. It calls this the graphing view, and then the Algebra View. In the Algebra View, it has the coordinates of the points listed, the lengths of the sides, and the area of the polygon. By default, it lists all of that. Just like GSP, I can drag any of the vertices. I guess you can't drag a side like you can in GSP, but you can drag any of the vertices around, and you'll see that the measurements change over here. Okay. Now constructing midpoints is very easy. I can select a side. See, I'm on the arrow tool right now, and I click to select that side. And let's see, you just kind of got to play around sometimes. I click up here, I see midpoint or center. So I'm going to select the midpoint tool, and then click. There's the midpoint, click, midpoint, click. There's the midpoint. Okay, so that easy. So if I want to find the centroid, it's the intersection of the medians. So let's see, we have the line tool, which I can turn to find segments instead of a line. And then you just click on the two ends of the segment. So there's one of them. There's the other, and the third will intersect there at the centroid, the concurrent point. Here, if I click on the point tools there, we have the midpoint, the new point for making an arbitrary point, and then we have the intersection of two objects. I'm going to use that to make it find the centroid. So I select that, click on two of the medians, and you'll have the centroid. If I click on the selection tool, the pointer tool, you can drag labels around on the screen if you need to. But anyway, there's the centroid. It defined it as point G. We even have its coordinates over here, and we can move things around. So that's really the basics of using GeoGebra to do geometric constructions. I mean, basically you have your tools up here, and it's pretty self-explanatory. You just click on the little arrow and it'll tell you the different types of tools you have. So you have the pointer, you could rotate around a fixed point. There's spreadsheets, we're not going to worry about that right now. Under the points, you can make a new point, find intersections, find midpoints. You can make lines, segments. You can make rays. If I did a point, another point, it would make a ray going off to infinity in one direction. If you have 2 points, you can make a vector. Not going to really worry about vectors right now. Different types of lines. You can do perpendicular and parallel, perpendicular bisectors, angle bisectors, different types of tangents. We can do best fit lines. We'll probably look at that later sometime. Polygons, circles, there's various circle and arc tools, conic sections, angles, then reflections and rotations and transformations, all the different transformations. You can make sliders and fancy things that we'll talk about later. You can zoom in and out. Like if I want to zoom in, I can pick that tool and zoom in on the picture, or we could zoom back out. There's lots of ways to hide things and turn labels off and on. If I get the pointer tool, if I right click over that tool, I could change to polar coordinates. I could tell it to show object, show label. They're already showing. If I click on show object, it's going to hide the object. Another way to turn it off and on is to go over here in the Algebra View and click the little circle there. You can turn it off and on. But I could turn its label off by clicking on show label. I could turn it back on the same way. Okay. You can also go into the properties box, the object properties, and click on show label. You can change the type of label you show. You can show the name, you can show the name and the value. If I do that and click close, you'll see that we have the points. So I'm going to go back into the object properties again. You can make it show only the value. You can make it show a caption if you want to write something else that you would type in there. But I'm going to go back to just name. So that's some of the very basics of using GeoGebra, and during the activities for tonight's class I'm going to run you through several more. Okay.